Right, Chelsea march through to the FIFA Club World Cup final after beating Fluminese 2-0 last night. And I am absolutely buzzing to be sat here today talking with the big dog, channel fan favourite, Mr. Josh Aveste, who has had another haircut. He just can't stop going, this man.
I just love it when you say to me, you need to get the short back in size. And you said to me, get the 0.5, try it, test it out,
0.5.
see how it goes.
Is that what I said to you, 0.5?
No, you actually said skin fade, but I can't commit to the skin fade.
Nah.
Do you know what I mean? I just can't do it. I'm sorry.
It's a lot of commitment.
It takes some cojones to go for the skin fade. If you are watching right now and you've got a skin fade, I just want to say congratulations.
I'll tell you what else takes some corners.
Go on.
Getting to 2 finals in the space of a month.
Yeah.
Rather than in the space of, like, I don't know, 4-5 seasons.
Do you
something.
know what?
Not comparing any managers, any London-based managers, not comparing any. Sorry, do I know what?
I love how you got that dig in early. I rate it. Yeah, I don't know what you're on about. I just love that you have been labelled one of the most toxic Chelsea fans on the internet. You're just so boringly positive. You just constantly back the team. You believe in the players that we have. You back the manager. And do you know what, mate? I'm getting a bit bored of it because we're not actually that good.
No.
No.
Do you know what I did last night?
I don't want to know.
I sat.
You can't say it.
I sat and read some comments.
Did you? What were the comments saying?
It didn't age well.
Really?
They really didn't age well. No.
In what time period are we talking about?
In my comment section underneath my videos covering the opening couple of games of the Club World Cup. So, listen.
But Joey,
I said that we would be there or thereabouts. I said I would imagine we'd probably end up in the final at that Club World Cup. I said I can't guarantee we'll probably end up in the final. I don't know why you're looking surprised. It's you I've said it to. I've seen the clip.
Yeah, no, I remember.
I say it to.
No, I remember that. The reason why I'm surprised is because, to be fair, mate, we haven't played anyone difficult, have we?
Hey.
All of the games have been easy, haven't they?
Yeah,
all of the Brazilian teams. Do you know what? I think the resounding thing of this tournament is what everyone has been saying is that the Brazilian teams are really poor, isn't it? Like the Brazilian teams, they obviously can't deal with the conditions. They've been, they've had 70 games. They're obviously not that good.
Can't deal with the conditions.
Yeah.
Obviously, they've just played a full season and Champions League football like we. No, they're just sort of beginning their season, aren't they?
Yeah, I think they're 11 games in. Don't worry about that.
Okay.
Don't worry about that.
So you would say they're sort of primed to perfection.
Yeah, but again, don't worry about that. And then also, did you see the press conference where Enzo Maresca said that Chelsea have been playing so many more games and so the Brazilian teams have it easy? And then the Brazilian journalist actually said that in the last 12 months, they've played more games than us, the Brazilian teams. They've actually played 70 games.
Okay.
So, they played a lot of football. They should be ready to go.
Iron sharpens iron.
There you go.
Play a lot of football, should be ready to go. Exactly that. But unfortunately for the Brazilian clubs, barring Flamengo, who I've obviously stated on the channel multiple times, Enzo Maresca through the game to get us on what he perceived as the easier side of the draw because he saw the bigger picture. Apart from that, done well against the Brazilian teams. And do you know what? It was like, it's been said very poetic about this tournament so far, hasn't there?
You do like a good rhyme. I would say more rap than poetry.
Yeah.
Spoken words, maybe.
More be rabbit. But no, there's been something very poetic about this tournament.
Yeah.
In terms of, let's say, for example, and we are going to speak in specific about last night's game, but in terms of like key players stepping up in key moments, contributions coming from key players. I think that, Liam Delap's contribution when first coming into the team was something that you could describe as quite poetic in terms of Chelsea finally signing a number 9. He's taking the number 9 shirt. He's going out there delivering the goods. And then just to add to the flavour, to add to the recipe, we've now got Joao Pedro. What is it with Chelsea and Pedros?
Why have we just taken all of the good Pedros?
Yeah.
I can't think of any other good Pedro other than the players that we've had.
Pedro?
Yeah.
Pedro Neto?
Yeah.
Joao
Pedro.
I used to have a cab driver called Pedro from Manacars. Nice bloke.
I'm surprised you haven't gone for a middle name of Pedro in your next born, to be fair, because it's a good name. It works. It's a good luck charm, I would say.
Do you know what my middle name is, my next one?
Go on.
Ryan.
Ryan?
Yeah.
And do you want to tell the people the story of that, or keep that to yourself?
We just after my brother.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
But last night, right?
Yeah.
Were you confident going into the game? Because I was literally like, stonewall guarantee we're going to win this.
The only caveat to that, I was feeling that we were going to win it. The only caveat to that was I know how imperiously good Thiago Silva is. So I was thinking maybe he'd force a shutout. And also, the one thing that I will give the Brazilians are, they've got a lot of physicality and they do wear teams down. And I think what I was most worried about is that there might have been a dodgy penalty. And I mean, the way the game went, if we didn't have VAR, we might have been given a dodgy penalty against us, to be fair.
Some would argue it might not be dodgy.
Yeah. I'd like to have that argument with those people.
You better go and find one because I'm not going to fucking argue.
Yeah. When we get into the game, when we get into the game, we should honestly discuss this because I'm getting a bit sick of the handball rule.
Well, let us get into the game, right?
Yeah.
So the first thing that I did, right, I'm stood there with my nephew Ron, and the team sheet came out, and he's played for Chelsea, right? So he's a really good footballer. But he stopped playing years ago. But he used to play for Chelsea, but he never watched no more. So
that's a claim to fame, isn't it?
There you go. Yeah.
Congrats, Ron.
Yeah. Met like the
what position was he?
Ron was a striker, but he met like Costa and all them.
Did he?
Yeah. When he was playing for Chelsea, played for Brighton and a few teams. But anyway, yeah. So he don't know none of the players no more, right? So I was like, oh right. I said, let me try and name the full team, line up, whatever. And I got 10 out of 11, right? But obviously, I said Reece. And it was
okay, but it could have been predicted.
But he was quite surprised that I went. Is it Nkunku, Palmer, Neto, Pedro? And he went, yeah. And I was like, and that was quite good considering we had Jackson on the bench. I think a few people would have thought that Enzo Maresca would have been a little bit more cautious in the starting of Joao Pedro. Yeah. However, the cameo gave us, it gave you Mudryk Anfield vibes. Really.
Which cameo?
The cameo in his first game, Joao Pedro.
Oh, Joao Pedro.
Was it as good as Mudryk Anfield vibes? Really?
Nothing will ever be up there. Nothing will ever be up there. Do you know what's so funny about this is I feel like now I do have to just die on this hill.
I can give you a better one.
Better than the Mykhailo Mudryk Liverpool.
I can give you better than Mudryk Anfield cameo.
Debut for Chelsea.
Yeah.
Okay, go on.
Yeah. So bearing in mind, like, we're not putting it into, like, we're not going someone that actually rocked up and, like, scored a screamer on their debut. Yeah. We're saying, like, someone who on their debut showed, oh my God, this fella's going to be good. And then ultimately.
Ultimately they weren't that good.
I'll give you, I was at the match 0-0. Ricardo Quaresma, when he came on loan.
What a player.
0-0 against Hull City, I believe it was. He would only cross the ball with the outside of the boot. Yeah. He was techie AF.
Didn't he do a Rabona in that game? I feel like he did a Rabona.
Not with kids in the
stadium.
Not with kids in attendance.
Wasn't he wearing the number 9 as well, Quaresma, in that season?
Can't remember, but it could have been. Yeah. Scored a goal against Coventry in a 3-1 win in the cup.
That's a big game.
Yeah, it is a big game. It's always a big game against the Cov. Right, so talking of last night's game, were you surprised to see Joao Pedro start ahead of Jackson?
I was surprised with your confidence that you were going to say that Nkunku started on the left. I think that takes some cojones to have predicted that, to be honest with you. Like, you're talking about a player who might be out of the door once this tournament ends, almost to the second that the tournament ends. I feel like the bid from Bayern is going to come in.
Well, can I just stop you just there?
Yeah.
Other options then?
In terms of other players for the left wing?
Left wing. So Joao Pedro is one you'd probably say because you could go
Noni
Jackson,
is probably
whatever.
The other one.
But can we just go actual, and I know if I go, actual left wingers, you can only say Tarek George, but can I go like, I think from what we've seen from Joao Pedro, we see him a little bit more centrally, maybe an inverted 10 in that system that he used to use of Leicester or whatever. Me and you have sung from the rooftops about Jackson's ability to play left wing, but people that actually play left wing, you've only actually got Tarek George, Madueke, and Nkunku
in the squads at the moment.
In the squad.
No,
I know there's been experimentation with Cole Palmer. I know you could say, you could stick someone out there.
Yeah, but he's not a left winger.
Dewsbury Hall's played on the wing, whatever.
Yeah.
I want about people that can play it and actually do a job there. Yeah. And then when you say that and you go, oh, well, the bid from Bayern's about to come in. Well, who's closer to a move? Madueke.
Oh, Madueke is closer to a move, for
sure.
There you go. I mean, there is an argument that you need both of them to be gone. But yeah, absolutely, Madueke will be the first one.
As more than an argument, you probably do need both of them to be gone. And we'll speak about that as the video goes on in terms of financially. But at this moment in time, I'm like, okay, if both are going to leave, you're going to get more money for Madueke than you will in Nkunku. Just about slightly, maybe 10 mil or something. Both are going to leave wage-wise. I get that. But I'm looking at it and I'm going, okay, well, if sounds harsh, doesn't it? And it could come back to bite me in the arse when one of them doesn't leave and inevitably goes on and does good things. But if both are going to leave, I don't really give a fuck about either of you. So all I want to do is start the one that's played better so far in the tournament.
The thing that...
And to go against a lot of what I've said, like if you said to me 2 months ago, you can start in Nkunku or Madueke, I'd go, are you having a fucking laugh? You trying to wind me up?
This is the thing.
But last night, I would have started in Nkunku.
Yeah, this is the thing, though. If you take yourself back to a month ago, the end of the season, Nkunku wasn't in the squad. We were saying that he doesn't have the mentality to play, and we were worried about how much intensity he will actually give, even if he comes on in a game. And so there were moments in which Maresca didn't even select him as part of his matchday squad. And so I'm thinking before this game, how the hell can Christopher Nkunku get in the team? And I'll say one thing. I'll give him a lot of credit here. I thought Nkunku was really good.
Yeah,
I thought, and again, I saw more motivation on the pitch than I have done for a long time with Christopher
Nkunku. And we're skipping slightly forward and we're going to go back to the Joao Pedro opener.
Oh, yeah.
Although, when Nkunku had that chance and there was as always, Thiago Silva clearance off the line, I was sat watching the match, and before Nkunku cut it back, when it was more likely, really, he should have just took it on the left foot and drilled it across goal. Before he cut it back, I said, he ain't scoring this. He ain't scoring this.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that there would be a Brazilian... I think at his age, he's just... you could probably just call him a wonder kid at 40 because it looks like he's going to play till 60.
Yeah.
And that
I'd love to have him back at Chelsea.
Yeah.
I would pay all of the money. And also, by the way, all of the love and respect that the players and staff gave to Thiago Silva shows how well he's respected still.
Well, I said it in my match preview. I said that if Chelsea had Thiago Silva in the season gone by, we would have finished a lot closer to the likes of Arsenal, Man City, Liverpool than we did to the likes of...
Do you think that was a mistake then?
What, letting Thiago Silva go?
Yeah, when we did. Do you think... Because I was thinking about it...
No, I don't.
I was thinking about it as I was watching it, and I was like, why not give him another year?
Yeah. So there's two chains of thought, right? Because someone could improve us, and someone we could kind of regret something without it being a mistake, if that makes sense, right? So here's what I'm going to say. Are there matches that Thiago Silva last season would have been responsible for us either not dropping points in or picking up more points? There definitely are. Do I think there's enough that it would have took us from, fourth to second? I actually don't. I said that we'd finish closer to them lot, but I still think, we'd be in and around it with City, we'd be in and around it with Arsenal and whatnot. I don't think that we would have significantly challenged more with Thiago Silva there. But I think in the long run, then yeah, of course. I mean, like another... Look at what Levi Colwill this season, in my opinion, right, I think that some of the claims that were made about Levi Colwill last season in terms of his standard of defending, his ability to actually be ready to be starting for Chelsea at this moment in time, some of those concerns last season were valid. They were, right? That's not to say they were true, but they were valid to be concerns. There were moments in certain games.
When you say last season, do you mean the season that has just gone, or the season before?
I mean the season where he was paired with Thiago Silva.
Okay, so the season before, this season. Okay, sorry, yeah. I just wanted to clarify that because I don't want you to think that people to think you're sucking off Levi Colwill's performance this season.
No, so the season he was paired with Thiago Silva, right? He only really had the one season to learn off him. He was out on loan at Brighton before that. That season, I think some of the concerns about, okay, is Levi Colwill ready right now, right? I think some of those concerns were valid. I would have still started him, but I think some of the concerns were valid, right? I think he learnt so much off Thiago Silva in that season, and that showed this season. And it showed when Thiago Silva was removed from the picture. Maybe they'd have been even better together.
Well, this is the thing. This is what I was just about to say. Like, imagine them being a pair together. And also, then I think it puts less pressure on a Tosin who's acclimatising to the Chelsea setup, who, again, I think, by the way, quick shout out to him. Thought he played really well last night. And also, there's then less pressure on Trev, and in those big games as well.
He never would have come back.
Yeah, he probably wouldn't have come back. No. So maybe that's a bit of a blessing that we do have Trev back.
Now, one man that did come back.
Yep.
Well, he didn't really come back. He was played in America, but he played against his former team last night with Joao Pedro. I was very happy to see him start. I said in my match preview that Enzo Maresca so far hasn't actually had the opportunity, in my opinion, to show Chelsea fans just how ruthless he can be, right? And I said that we're going to find that out in this match, because I said if he doesn't start, knowing that we can't start Liam Delap because of the suspension, I said if he doesn't start Nicholas Jackson, right, and he starts Joao Pedro through the middle, I said that's a ruthless move. That's a ruthless move.
Do you think it's Curtin's ruthless? Or do you think it's, he played well in the last game and let's have a look at him in a semi-final?
I want to give one answer, but my gut wants me to just go with my gut.
Okay, well, sure. So do gut and head for me.
Head, no, not curtains.
Okay.
Head, no. I'm not ready to turn my back. I do not give up on people easily, right? And I've always had nowhere near to the extent, but where you've always had your thing for Mudryk, I've always had my thing for Jackson, where he's had a lot of heat, a lot of pressure, a lot of people slagging him off, and I've gone, listen, I'm sat inside Stamford Bridge watching this boy. He can play some football, and I'm like, I've watched the creme de la creme. Like, I've watched the best of the best. And I'm not saying this fella's up there with them, but what I am saying is you lot are saying he's rubbish, and he ain't rubbish. He's fucking good. Nicholas Jackson's a really good player, right? Is he a really good goal scorer? No. No.
I think it's more goal converter. I think it's all about the conversion, because he gets in the right places, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I think he can be trained into a goal scorer, but at the moment he's not. I agree.
You know when you say he gets in the right places, though?
Yeah.
Yeah. You never saw him play without Cole Palmer or Enzo Fernandez, really, did you?
So you're saying that those passes, the assists from those boys, are the reasons why it looked like he was in the right places? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying there could be an argument that, I don't know, give me someone. Mateta. Would he not be in the right places?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Who is, by the way, an out-and-out number 9. Trained as
Has Liam Delap not looked to have been in the right places?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And he can convert
But that's just me playing devil's advocate,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So there's the head part of me. The head part of me goes, no, of course it's not curtains for Nicholas Jackson just because he didn't start that match, blah, 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 blah. But my gut says, yeah, curtains.
What's very revealing about the Nicholas Jackson story recently is that he has come out and said, my future is with Chelsea and I want to continue and play for Chelsea.
Good man, like the attitude.
I love the attitude. I just think that might be the last, the last little bit that he's holding on to try and stay at Stamford Bridge. And I do feel that there may have been a decision already made.
Or he could have entered a relationship with a woman named Chelsea.
There you go. There's nothing wrong with that.
There you go.
I think it's a beautiful name.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Maybe you should call you first.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe.
Yeah.
Don't think that would be allowed.
Name your
Don't
kids
think that
over
would
the
be
two
allowed.
things you love the most.
Yeah. What?
Chelsea and Pornhub. Come, dinner's on the table.
I was going to say, those two things cannot be names.
Right, Joao Pedro.
Yeah, the first goal.
Fuck Me, I tell you what, right? Again, they call me the Joracle, right? Joey the Oracle.
No one's ever called you that.
Literally, no one's ever called me that.
But let's get that in the comments right now.
Let's make out. People call me it.
Yeah.
No, but they got that as soon as that ball went wide. I see Joao Pedro. I went, if he puts it to him, he's going to swing this in straight away. Just bomb FIFA placement shot. Absolutely loved it. It was fucking terrific.
Do you know what? I don't know if you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but I don't feel like he put any curl on it. Do you remember where he puts it? He lifts it over the defender. I don't think there was any swaz on the ball.
So you think it went more?
I think it went more up
and down.
Yeah,
almost free kick-esque.
Yeah,
knuckleball. You didn't
almost
think it was a FIFA placement.
No, I think it was more of a knuckleball. Sort of went directly over and into the corner in a way in which if he curled it, it wouldn't have gone in because the defender was there on that side.
I can see what you mean.
Yeah,
it wasn't Beckham. It wasn't just Minder from Bend It Like Beckham.
It wasn't. But by the way, I'm not saying that isn't good. I'm saying that is maybe even more impressive to get it in the back of the net. The goalie was nowhere. Do you know how old their goalkeeper was?
How old?
Their goalkeeper was 44.
44 years old?
Yeah, he's just signed a 2-year contract.
To be fair, I'm pretty sure Brad Friedel did it until 42. Something like that.
And if Brad Friedel can do it until 42, you can do it until you're at least 45.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Get you in net.
There you go.
Joao Pedro looks so self-confident. There's almost a bit of arrogance to him. And again, I mean that in a good way. Like you when you've got a number 9 that knows they're good, you're off to the races.
Did you not see the sort of like induction interview when he was like walking across it? Looked like a golf course or something.
Yeah.
And he's like got his Chelsea top on and whatever. And he's like bare nonchalant and he's just whatever. And they went, "What position you?" And he went, "Striker."
Yeah.
And it was like straight away. But the way he said it, he went, "Striker."
Yeah.
And then whatever, he said striker straight away. And I was like, I like that because straight away you've said like striker. You know you've got the lap there. You know you've got Jackson there. Like that is good because that will breed competitiveness from all of them, which will level up all of their game. Yeah,
so true.
If I go into any gym and the sparring's good, I'm only gonna get better. Yeah.
The comment that I loved was that he basically said, "I play for Chelsea. They pay me to score goals, and so I'm glad I did." Yeah. Like again, I can't imagine, and again, not to make this about Nicholas Jackson, but I can't imagine Nicholas Jackson coming out with a quote like that.
But then this is the other thing, right? Everyone, when we signed him, went, "Oh, yeah, but look at his actual non-penalty goals, whatever." Yeah, whatever. Stick someone into a more smartly dressed work environment. What they're going to do? They're going to keep coming in tracksuits, so they're going to start wearing a suit.
Yeah.
Level someone up, and they'll level up. And he said straight away, he said, scoring. He said that's what he said straight away, scoring. Yeah. Now he knows he's not going to get penalties over Palmer and whatnot. Didn't look like a penalty merchant last night to me.
No.
Did not look like a penalty merchant.
I mean, on that penalty point, I mean, he's not going to get them over Cole Palmer, but he's definitely going to put him under pressure. And also, when we get into we might be we're in the final. We might be in penalties in the final.
Yeah.
To have Cole Palmer and Joao Pedro as very, very good penalty takers.
2 guarantees.
And also, you've got Nkunku, who is a very good penalty taker as well.
I don't think Nkunku is. I wouldn't put him as third on our penalty taker list.
But you would have him in your top 5.
No, I don't.
Who would you? So say we get through to the final.
Whatever order.
Yeah.
My 5 taking penalties would obviously be Reece.
Okay.
Would be Trev.
Yeah. I rate that.
Yeah. Would be Cole Palmer.
Joao Pedro.
And Noni Madueke. I know you'll push against it.
I don't know if
Noni Madueke takes a good penalty.
Do you think?
Yeah.
And that's why he wanted to take the ball off Cole Palmer when he stole that penalty off him.
You've seen him take a penalty. You've seen Noni Madueke score.
I've seen him take a few penalties.
You was at the game against
the Carabao Cup game.
AFC Wimbledon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Either way,
not the best goalkeeper in the world.
Not long after that, Cucurella channels his inner Thiago Silva, clears one off of the line. Now, the clearance off of the line was brilliant, yeah? It's almost to be expected with Cucurella. You just know that he's going to pop up and do stuff like that. Cucurella last night was magnificent.
Do you know what? It's hard for me because I don't usually love DMs and like defenders, like as my favourite players. I often go for the Hazards, the Drogbas, etc. Right? But I now love Caicedo as my number one player. I think he's the best thing since sliced bread. And Cucurella is now my number two. Like, I think without Cucurella, we are a completely different team. So much so that we need to get a backup, because if we don't have Cucurella in the team, we're fucked. Do you know what I mean?
But then, do you know, like, it's so hard because in terms of a backup, it's like
You're never getting in.
Look at what you just said.
Yeah.
You do not want to come and play backup to the guy that the fan base says if he doesn't play, we're fucked.
Yeah, but at the end of the day,
he's backup.
Yeah, but come on. I mean, I don't want Cucurella to be playing any Carabao Cup games or even the first few games in the FA Cup. Yeah. I don't want him going anywhere near that.
I'd be the same as you. And even if we had like an easy group
Champions League.
Yeah.
I agree.
But one thing we would say is what we used to say is, and we don't have Reece James in the team, we're fucked. And then what happened in that season with Pochettino? Malo Gusto comes in, tears it up, does really, really well. Just quickly before we move on, what did you think of Malo Gusto last night? Because I think that lukewarm might be a way of describing most of his performances in the Club World Cup. Or this season. And what did you think of him last night? Because obviously, actually, I was what's the word? Didn't really have much of an opinion on his performance. Didn't think he did bad. Didn't think he did great. Whatever. I had a look at SofaScore this morning. They rated him quite highly. So
yeah, no, I think he looked really good. I think the biggest thing that I have, and it's a consistent issue that I have with Gusto, is that if that means that Joshua Champong is even going to go out on loan, I would rather sell Malo Gusto. We cannot.
It's a hard one.
We cannot let Joshua Champong leave the football club. We can't let it happen. That boy is so talented. He fits into the system so incredibly well.
Well, that's the thing I would say more, right? And this is something that I actually have a belief in. And with Chelsea's culture of hiring and firing, many people, including some within our own fan base, but mostly opposition fans, pundits, whatnot, many people will say, that won't change. That will carry on under the Clear Lake Luco ownership, and the evidence there is so far that it has. Yeah, I understand that. We're on our fifth manager or whatever. It's a little bit techie. Lampard wasn't a real manager for us. Bruno wasn't a real manager for us. We're not on our fifth manager. Do you know what I mean? We're on our third real one that they've appointed. But I get it. I do get it, right? But I think that I do see Maresca being here for a while, right? And I'm already starting to see him tweak his system, and this is what I said about ruthlessness. When those ruthless decisions need to be made, Maresca will make them, right? I do believe that. Nicholas Jackson, if he drops him, that's a ruthless decision. He's already done it for Liam Delap. That is a ruthless decision. You could go, well, what's Nicholas Jackson done on the pitch to make him undroppable? And I'm like, it's not on about that. It's on about time spent, relationships built, experiences shared. Yeah, like that's why it's a ruthless decision, because he's got to know this, man. Someone else comes in, you're in, best for the team. That's what you want from a manager, right? That's what you want from a manager. But I just think, like, unless he significantly changes his backline systematically, whether or not Malo Gusto is a better player right now, right? And in a certain system, he is a better player right now than Joshua Champong, right?
Fair point.
I think it's fair.
No,
in a certain system, he's a better player right now than Josh Champong. However, if we're going to play with this system, then not only in this system right now is Josh Champong a better player, I think he's going to be one for the future. And I also think that the fact that we're a Premier League club with the incentivisation of homegrown players and stuff like that, every little helps.
The only caveat to what I've just said about Malo Gusto in terms of him potentially leaving to save Joshua Champong is if they don't sign a left back and they see Gusto as a backup left back as well. Do you know what I mean? I think if we are going to keep that as the strategy, have 3 right backs on the books and only 1 left back, then I think that makes sense. And I'm happy for all 3 of them to be there. But when I saw the rumours that Josh might be leaving to Palace, it did set off Livramento vibes. And I do think Livramento is still a really good player. Can I ask you this actually? I'm interested to know, would you rather have Gusto or Livramento now?
For Chelsea?
Yeah.
Livramento.
And I'm worried about what will happen with the Champon. But anyway, let's not worry too much about.
Well,
transfers.
let's worry about another man.
Can I just say though, before we move off the Cucurella thing, Robert Sanchez, for fuck's sake, get out of your box. That was ridiculous. He was so slow off the line there. That is another error for me for Sanchez.
Do you know, honestly, yeah, like, obviously, yes, it's dependent on Gittins coming in and doing well. It's dependent on the performers that performed last season elevating their levels once again, or at least being able to perform to the same amount. It's dependent on injuries and stuff like that. But that moment there when Sanchez doesn't get off his line quick enough emphasised to me that, and I actually take this in a positive way, we are really not far away. Like we're like a goal. I honestly think we're a goalkeeper away from competing.
Well, the good
and I'm not about from competing for the FIFA Club World Cup. I'm on about for league titles. Like, I think we're a goalkeeper away.
Well, the good news is there's a goalkeeper on the market that is actually available, and I'm not talking about Mike Mannion.
Petrovic?
No. There is. I've heard a lot of rumours saying that Petrovic might end up staying, but I think the solution is Jan Sommer from Inter Milan. Do you know that Jan Sommer? I looked this up recently. He is only on €60,000 a week.
That is daylight robbery. How's he live?
We could give him €100,000 a week, and he would be very, very happy, and would be an immense upgrade. Do you remember? Did you go to the Inter Milan pre-season game this season?
No, I watched it.
He was so good in that game.
Yeah.
He was so good in that game.
Tell you who else was quite good in that game? Renato Vega.
Interesting.
Just for a little. Yeah.
Interesting.
But yeah,
Off to Bayern,
I'll be up for it. I'll be up for it.
Yeah.
Just quickly, we'll rattle through a few of these. Just we want to get it done. Trevor Chalobah penalty incident. Now, I said I was going to get back to this. Do you know what my initial thought was?
Penalty.
Pen.
Yeah.
Pen.
Because it does hit his hand. I mean, you heard it on the commentary.
Yeah.
You actually heard it hit his hand.
But I looked at it and I was like, pen. And then it was like, and then I looked at it again on the first one and I went, that's harsh, that is, right? Because what he's actually done wrong by doing right. Because what he did was he tried to get his arm out the way of the ball. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, his arm's already in a natural position, and then he moves it in closer to himself to get it out the way of the ball. If he hadn't moved it in closer to himself, I think the ball would have gone through.
Can I just say, the handball rule is the most egregious rule that could be solved in the most simple way. There should not be a direct shot on goal for an accidental touch of an appendage of your body which you can't necessarily control in terms of like how quickly it comes at you. You can, like, a shot on goal should be for a really bad foul and a chance that stops a goal scoring opportunity. Like, basically, the punishment has got to fit the crime. We have a true crime channel. If you haven't followed it, it's Joey and Josh. Segue into that.
Links
right
in
there.
the description, actually.
Yeah. So it has to fit the crime. A glancing touch on a player's hand that wants to move it out of the way is not stopping a goal scoring opportunity. I'm sorry. Yeah. It's just, so let's just rewrite the rule. The simple solution to this is indirect free kick. Simple solution. If it hits someone accidentally in the box, indirect free kick. Done. You've solved it. But yeah, I'm very glad the ref went to the screen. The hand movement was clear. And almost, mate, I don't think it's a debate anymore. I think that was quite clear, and the referee saw it and changed his decision. Fair play to him for doing so.
Yeah, fair play. Let's move on.
Say it properly.
Fair play. Fair play.
Fair play, mate. Fair play.
Fair play, mate. Fair play.
I think that was actually the direct quote of Trevor Chalobah in his ear.
Fair play, mate. Fair play. Join us in the showers later. Right. Joao Pedro second.
I know. What was better? What goal did you enjoy the most? The first or the second?
I
think this is a simple answer.
I think, personally, the second.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why.
Go on.
I'll tell you why, right? Palmer does well and not well, yeah? Not well in terms of like sometimes I'm like, come on, Cole.
He fell over it.
Cole, like,
come on, be honest.
I know you're the dog's bollocks, yeah, but have a bit of pace off the mark. Like, I reckon, yeah. Like, obviously, don't get me wrong. Like, fucking, if it was like a long,
If it was, by the way, if it was you, you'd fall on your ass.
Do you know what? No, not in a match of football, by the way. I'm just on about sprint speed.
Okay.
I'm on about like sprint speed off the mark, yeah. When I'm like on fight thing, I think I'm probably quicker than
You are right. Chelsea FC, make this video happen. Right. What distance are we doing? Are we doing over like 40 meters, like an immediate sprint?
What do you think Palmer can run a 5K in?
That's completely different.
Do you think Palmer can run a sub 19 5K?
I think he can beat you in a 5K. Yeah.
No, he probably could.
Yeah.
But anyway, what I was thinking was when the goal happened, I was looking at
I love that you've thought about that though.
No, but I do think I'm a little bit quicker off the mark than Cole Palmer. I'm not as techie. I'm not far off. I'm not as techie.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit quicker off the mark. Either way, right? He gets it caught in him, but he does have that Jackson-esque ability of being able to make a bit of a meal out of it, but then
still come up with a really good pass.
That meal be servable and eatable. But then the pass from Cole Palmer was to Joao Pedro, and I'm like, oh fuck, like missed the opportunity now. The party was there to be had, and now it's not there. What's Enzo Fernandez do? Oh, don't worry about it, mate. Here you go. I'll tell you what, did I hear the Joey and Josh podcast mention Ricardo Quaresma? Oh, I think I'll do the outside of the foot, actually. Boom! Straight through.
I love that you changed the name of the podcast, by the way.
What?
Where you just said the Joey and Josh podcast.
It's all the same. All gets changed in the washer anyway.
We're going to have to rename it the Joey and Josh football channel.
Shit, innit? But yeah, so anyway, side foot of the ball goes through. Now, Joao Pedro, again, when we speak about the confidence of this man, you're on your full debut.
I know.
You're doing things that I'm not throwing no shade, but strikers for a long time haven't been doing for us. I'm not saying players ain't been doing it, but strikers for a long time ain't been doing that for us. Just picking, who was the goal that Jackson scored against towards the back end of this season? It was a red kit, so it was either Brentford at Stamford Bridge or it could have been Southampton at Stamford Bridge. But he took it outside of the box and just smashed it in. And I'm like, oh, we never see them goals from you. Like, that's quite good. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, Joao Pedro's do that. I mean, they always look great when they come off the bar as well.
That's the thing. The off the bar made it look exceptional. It made it look really, really good. And do you know what I found so surprising about that?
A goal off the bar is like a woman after 8 pints.
So true.
So much better.
So much better.
Yeah.
The thing that I was surprised about, that goal went in at 50-odd minutes, maybe early 60s.
Yeah.
And then he took him off straight away, which I understand why he did, because ultimately he hasn't played a lot of football. But he was on for... He would have scored a hat-trick. I'm going to just say it now. I reckon he would have got that third goal.
He would have scored a hat-trick, and then you're in the territory of
best debuts of all time.
Wayne Rooney-esque debut.
Yeah.
Remember his against Fenerbahce when he scored a hat-trick, scored that free kick?
I thought his... Are you talking debut for Man United?
Man United, yeah.
I thought you were talking about the Everton. Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah.
That is his debut, by the way, last night, isn't it, Joao Pedro?
Full debut, yeah.
It's his debut?
Full debut, yeah.
No. It's his debut.
No, because he played a previous game for us.
But what did we call it?
Half debut.
No, we didn't. Called it a cameo.
Oh, okay.
That's your cameo.
Okay.
Last night was a debut.
Fair enough.
Yeah? There you go.
I rate it.
That's what I would say anyway, personally.
Yeah.
Obviously, after this instant, Nicholas Jackson comes on. Nicholas Jackson gets a big chance. Now...
I was so angry about this.
And you weren't the only one. Cole Palmer was also very angry.
I know.
Cole Palmer was in a perfect position to have it squared to him. Cole Palmer would have probably just touched it on with his right foot into an empty net. Nicholas Jackson, right? 2 months ago, or whenever Liam Delap signed, before Liam Delap signed, because Joao Pedro followed, Nicholas Jackson squares that ball to Cole Palmer.
He does.
You know he does.
He's under... I think that was endemic of the pressure that he's under now. I think Jackson knows that he's under immense pressure. And what he should learn is an assist is worth just as much as a goal.
So just for those of the very small percentage that didn't cover the game, what happened? Nicholas Jackson goes through on goal. Obviously, it's on his left foot. It's on his weaker foot. He's not as confident with that foot. You very, very rarely will see him score a goal off of his left foot to an extent where he literally didn't take a shot against Manchester City when he had an open goal because it was on his left foot. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
We were watching that in the pub, weren't we? He didn't take the shot against Man City. He had an open goal to tap it into. He was so unconfident in his left foot, he didn't take that shot. Last night, he's got Cole Palmer to square it to. It would have been 3-0 game, wrapped up, over, and you've come off the bench and you've made a contribution. And then there is at least somewhat of a dilemma selection headache when we approach the final, which now I don't really believe there is, right? Especially with the lap back in contention. And that'll move us on to my next question.
Yeah.
But that came from pressure of realising like, oh, shit, like, I'm not the only show in town anymore. And I've got these boys breathing down, not even breathing down my neck. I would like to be able to smell their necks because they're so far in front of me now. Am I wrong? Am I harsh? Or is that kind of how it's looking at the minute?
Do you reckon their necks smell nice?
Hey?
Do you reckon their necks smell nice?
Who do you reckon the nicest smelling Chelsea player is?
I reckon Pedro Neto has got some sort of like fragrance collection. Whenever I look at him, I think suave. Who do you think?
I just always give the boring answer, don't I?
Don't say Levi Cole.
No, I wasn't going to say Levi.
Okay.
Reece, I think smells nice.
Reece is a coiffed man. I can imagine him.
Reece, I would imagine, smells nice.
Yeah.
I'll give you one. I'll tell you someone now who I bet would smell nice.
Yeah.
And you'll be like, and then you'll go, oh, actually, yeah. Robert Sanchez.
I could see that, yeah.
I could see him smelling
He's
nice.
He's very sort of like manicured, isn't he? He takes a lot of care in his appearance. Robert Sanchez, I'm glad you have shaved the head, by the way.
Yeah.
It looks much better.
Can we go through and list now the order, right? Your Enzo Maresca.
Yeah.
You've got all of them fit and available. Now I'm going to give you the names, yeah? Because I'm not doing the whole like, Pedro Neto through the middle like we did when we had the injury crisis. No.
Can you add Mark Ewan
for a number 9, I'm going to give you the names, right? You have got Nicholas Jackson, Liam Delap, Joao Pedro, Mark Ewan.
Yeah.
Right? I want you to tell me, right, one by one, who your first to fourth choice is. You're picking a team sheet. So say for example, you go, Mark Ewan is my number 1. He's the best out of all of them. Okay, once you rule him out, who would you then pick? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So you go from bottom to top. Yeah.
So is this, can I ask the question, is this going to be for the Premier League or are we going to just say this for the majority of the season? This is who's going to be?
Yeah, whatever.
Okay, so for the majority of the season, Mark Ewan is number 4 because he'll be out on loan. Nicholas Jackson will be number 3 because he might not even be at the football club anymore. Then I think for me, I know this is going to sound mad after what's just happened, but Joao Pedro is number 2 because I do think that he'll be playing in other positions as well. And I would go as the number 9 is the number 9. I would go Delap would be the starting number 9.
I completely agree with you. I think that Jackson and Joao Pedro will probably battle more than maybe off the back of last night's euphoria some of us are anticipating. But yeah, I'd agree with you. I think that what Joao Pedro's thing is he has that versatility that he can play in other areas, and that is a blessing and a curse at the same time. And I think players like Nkunku have found that to be a blessing and a curse at the same time, or pre-curse. And then players like Pedro Neto, for example, it's like, yeah, you'll start over on the left wing, and then instead of subbing you off, we'll sub the right winger off and we'll move you over to the right. So that versatility for him has been like a real blessing. Do you know what I mean?
Can I ask you a question then? Give me your front 4 for the final. Who are you picking?
Front 4 for the final, I would be going with, I think it's pretty easy. I think it's really easy. Because I'll do a match preview. But I'll give you my front 4. It's easy enough. Liam Delap's going to start through the middle. Left wing, I am having
Joao Pedro
over in Nkunku. And then
Pedro and Cole Palmer.
Cole in the 10.
Cole in the hole.
Cole in the hole. Ped on the Ned.
Ped on the right.
I don't even know what that means.
Yeah.
Right, okay. we'll find out by the time a lot of these people people watch the video, we'll have found out who will be playing in the final. Just quickly, who would you rather it be out of Real Madrid or PSG?
On current form, the logical answer.
No.
Who would I rather have?
No current form. No, none of that. Who would you rather have?
PSG, personally.
Correct. Weird that, isn't it?
But on form, Real Madrid would be the easier opponent.
Yeah, but we've got more chance of beating
PSG. Why?
I don't know.
But Enrique is such a good manager, and also I think he would enjoy getting one over on Chelsea, bearing in mind the connections that he has to the managerial position.
Young v young, the midfield battle. I don't know. They've just won the Champions League. I know this would be a coup for them too. And yeah, Enrique doing really well. But I don't know, put me up against PSG. I'm like, nah, we can do them.
Do you know what? In a weird way now, I've got to the point now where I'm just saying, bring it on. Whoever it is. Because we are playing really well. I think we've got such good individuals within our team that then form a very good team. I honestly do just want to see them tested against the best in the world now. So I'm ultimately now I'm going to watch the game tonight, 8:00 our time as it goes up, and I'm just going to enjoy it. And I want to play whoever gets through. I don't mind.
And as well, I got told that Madrid got beat this season in back-to-back games by a team that have never even won a European Cup.
Who's that?
Arsenal.
I just wanted to hear you say it.
Oh, right. Okay. Just quickly, speaking of Arsenal, by the way, it just randomly came into my head. If Enzo Maresca wins this trophy, his second trophy in the space of a month, obviously, he hasn't only been at Chelsea Football Club a month. He has been at Chelsea Football Club for a whole season now. So listen, regardless, it's going to be a second final, isn't it, in his first season, right, at Chelsea Football Club. Obviously, one final in terms of a community shield, you wouldn't really call it a final, but it is what it is. It is what it is. You didn't have to go through all the stages to get there like you do through a Conference League or through a Club World Cup or something like that. It's it's a glorified trophy, but we'll take it for what it is. If Enzo Maresca is to win the Club World Cup in one season of management, has he surpassed what Mikel Arteta has done at Arsenal Football Club?
So how long has Arteta been at Arsenal for?
4 odd seasons, I think.
I think it's even more. I think it might be 5. And how many trophies has he won in that time? Just remind me.
Well, the Community Shield and the FA Cup. The FA Cup he won with a team that most would argue wasn't really his team. It was Unai Emery's team still. I don't think Mikel Arteta had made any signings or anything.
And also, remind me, what year was that FA Cup where they won it? It was quite a long time ago. It was a few years ago, right? And so my answer to you is, obviously the answer is yes. Obviously, Mikel Arteta is on thin ice. He can't keep coming second. He can't keep bottling trophies. You just can't do that. If Arsenal are a serious team, they'll go out there this season and they'll dominate the league. They'll show us and prove us all wrong. Unfortunately, Joey, I just don't think that's going to happen.
5 years ago, that FA Cup win was 5 years ago. So,
it's not looking good, bruv, is it?
Yeah, it's not looking good at all, bruv. But yeah, I think. No, listen, I'm actually being deadly serious because when I look at it, when I'm not bantering, when I look at it, I go, who is set up to have a better season next season? Right? Who's set up to have a better season next season? Chelsea or Arsenal? I don't think that it is as clear in Arsenal's favour as the general media and pundits would have you believe. Now, there's always going to be a little bit of a bias off the Chelsea channel, but I do think that with the signing of Gyökeres, that changes things a little bit. I think that's a good sign, and I've always championed it as a signing for Chelsea Football Club, so I'm not now going to go, oh, no, he's shit anyway. Now he's looking like he's going to go to Arsenal if he does go to Arsenal. If they do that, they'll improve. They'll be set up, and they'll be set up probably maybe slightly better than Chelsea Football Club are equipped to deal with next season in terms of pursuing a title or something like that. But fuck me, mate. After 5 years, I hope you would be 5% closer to that title than Chelsea Football Club are. And that's all they would be. And they would be going into that with probably, a 5% better chance of winning the title than Chelsea, but with the same amount of silverware under that manager we've acquired in one season and they've acquired in 5.5 odd seasons or whatever it is.
I completely disagree with you. I feel that they are way better set up than Chelsea, and they are the heir apparent to a title. They're finished in second place. They should be the second favourites, if not one of the favourites, to win the Premier League. And so they'll have all of that pressure. And also, they just can't keep the constant failures going. I'll tell you this, and remember this moment because it will be used in the rest of the season. Mikel Arteta, by Christmas, will be under pressure. Now, whatever that means, take it for what it will. But I reckon there will be calls for Mikel Arteta's head as the manager by Christmas. I don't know what that's going to look like. I don't know whether that's going to be a poor league performance, going out of a few cups, Champions League not performing as well. But Mikel Arteta will be under pressure. He's already under pressure now. Very interesting times for Arsenal. Very interesting. And if we win a title before Arsenal, it will go down in another one of their persistent failures.
I know. Imagine if we won a European Cup before them.
Can I also just say, by the way, there's a lot of rival fans that think that we will win a title before Arsenal do.
Yeah.
Like I've heard a lot of Man United fans saying it.
I think we will.
I think we will too.
Yeah.
What a state of affairs.
There you go. But all we are is, two deluded Chelsea YouTubers.
We're the noisy
Never
neighbours.
saw any of this coming, did we?
No. We never predicted any of this.
No. Listen, it is what it is, but Chelsea are going to have a good season. I've got one question and one question only for you. Do Chelsea win the FIFA Club World Cup?
Yes.
Of course we fucking do.
I've got a question back to you.
Go on.
Are you going to be streaming this game?
Yes, I'm going to try.
The fans want to know.
Final question. Bearing in mind some real heroics could happen and whatnot.
Yeah.
Player of the tournament. Who do you predict it being come the end of the tournament? I think there's quite a standout name so far for player of the tournament, but maybe you'll disagree. I don't know.
I think if Chelsea win the tournament, I think it'll be Moises Caicedo personally.
Do you?
Yeah. Who do you think?
I think if Chelsea win it, obviously Moises Caicedo has outperformed this man, I would say, match to match. Obviously, because he always does, because he's such a high, consistent performer. But there's a reason why, certain players never get the accolades they deserve. And unfortunately, Moises Caicedo will probably be one of them. I've got a feeling that Pedro Neto might get it.
I really rate that as well, because again, I don't feel like we talked about him pretty much in the entire episode.
He's been class in every game.
Immense.
He scored goals.
Yeah.
He's been wicked.
It gets to the point where I'm watching Pedro Neto and he picks up the ball and I go, I know that something is about to happen.
Exactly.
Right now.
Exactly. And
I rate it.
Can I just say, look, I don't want to get too deep and whatever, but imagine, mate, imagine that was you out there and you receive the news of the passing of one of your best friends in the world, right? The unexpected, tragic circumstances around it, and how much of a that is. Do you know what I mean? That we don't know Diogo Jota. We've never met him. Do you know what I mean? We've admired his work, loved watching him play at Wolves and even to an extent at Liverpool when they're not playing Chelsea. But we don't know him. That's one of Pedro Neto's best friends. You know what I mean? He's out of that tournament. He's received that news and he's still pushed on and played to the level that he's played to.
So true.
And the professionalism and really does show the character, because he's used it as a fire to get even more out of him. I can't commend him enough. And I think there's a chance that if he does something big in the final, then that's the player that you could be looking at to win player of the tournament.
I'm so glad you mentioned that context, because that is everything, isn't it? To fight in the way that he has fought. He's a consummate professional and ultimately, I think, a really good bloke as well. And do you know what? Him winning that would be a very good recognition of everything that he's done for
and
Chelsea.
there have been, by the way, obviously, the likes of Joao Neves and the likes of other players that have played in Joao Neves has played in this tournament, hasn't he?
Yeah.
That have played in this tournament, obviously really close with Jota. So it's not just Pedro Neto, but yeah, I think you can have his head held very high. People, let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. We want to know who, if it hasn't played out by the time you're watching this, you want Chelsea to play in the final. Let us know your thoughts on last night's match. Make sure you hit a like on the video. And Joey and Josh is linked in the description. We have got new true crime episodes dropping on a weekly basis. And I'll tell you what, I'll be impartial. They are absolutely mustard, if I may say so myself. I'll see you in the next one.